So being called to Ukraine, Kiev, Russian speaking, I get sent to the MTC May 12th. This is my entry date, 1993. So I'm in the Mission Training Center. There's my dorm floor is full of Russian speakers. We've got 2 districts who came in the same day and both learning Russian. There was some guys going to Kiev, and I believe some going to St. Petersburg in that group. And it kind of mixed in with both different classes. So half my class was Kiev, half was St. Petersburg, Russia. So we're in the Mission Training Center 3 weeks in, learning Russian, and the intercom comes into my class, and the voice says, I think Sister Robbins was teaching at the time, or that was morning, so it would have been Brother Amendola, I think. Amendola, can you have Elder Birch and Elder Blanchard, who were companions? I'm like, okay. Those 2 being called down. There was a few quirky things that we were all dealing with. I think Birch had broke a giant potato somewhere and was having to deal with that. And Elder Hanson come to the mission president's office at 1 o'clock. Like, okay. And just the 3 of us, like, what did we do? You know, I wouldn't say we were mischievous, but we had an ugly tie day, and we'd have Pringles lids, and we'd put duct tape around and use plate for frisbees and climbing up the walls and a lot of handstands. So we were definitely wigglier missionaries. I'm like, are we in trouble? What's going on? So that was a couple hours away, and we had some celestial service between that time, which meant we had to clean toilets. So as we're doing that, and we're like, what do we think this is? And one of the guys says, you're going out of Mongolia somewhere. And we found in the sister district, 3 other missionaries were called down there to the mission president's office. So we're all somewhat taken aback by this, and we show at the mission president's office, and he's got Encyclopedia open. Well, that's never a good thing when the mission president has an Encyclopedia open. There's something he doesn't know, which means something bizarre. So we sit down, and this is President Grant in the Mission Training Center. He said, you know, there's opportunities open in faraway places like Outer Mongolia, and we'd like to extend a transfer to you to U6. I said, well, where to? He said, Outer Mongolia. And we thought that was an expression that he didn't actually mean Outer Mongolia, so he had the Mongolian Encyclopedia open. He said, you'll be teaching English in universities. You may not wear your shirt and tie. You may not be with your companions. You may be there for 3 years. We don't know. But, you know, will you accept this calling? And we're like, actually, I don't think, he didn't even say will you accept. I think he just said, okay. I'm like, did we have a chance to say no? Like, none of us would have said no, but we got that. So we were really excited. We got a little bit of trouble after that because he did say, if I were you, I wouldn't call home. I'd just write a letter. Okay, so he wrote a letter, and that night our bishopric members had been notified. And he came in, that's exciting. And we're going to be the first missionaries in Mongolia. So that was the calling to the first missionaries in Mongolia to open up the country for preaching the gospel, to teach English universities. It sounded like that. It was the answer to my prayer of wanting to be someplace new and wanting to really meet someone who never had heard about the gospel. And so we were really excited. And so our branch president came in and said, well, did you call your family yet? And I said, well, no. We wrote letters. I'll give him a call. It's okay. So we all called home, very excited about it. Well, the mission president found out we'd called home. And he took us in his office and chewed us out up and down. If I tell you not to call home, you don't disobey me. And, you know, we're like, we said, you know, he was kind of vague. We thought he said it was just our choice. But so we took a good chewing out. And then he actually spoke at a devotional that night about choosing the higher path. In which he chewed us out again. He was looking at the 6 of us just chewing us out, and so that didn't go very well. So a few weeks later, my companion got transferred, Elder George, to Latvia, or Lithuania, one of the Baltics, because Russia was having Ukraine was having visa problems, got transferred to the Baltics. And they brought in 10 missionaries and gave him the transfer. And he said, well, if I were you, I wouldn't call him. I'd just write a letter. And he said, I'll leave you guys here and let you talk it over. So he left. And the newly transferred missionary said, well, should we call home? He didn't say don't call home. He said just he'd rather us write a letter, but he's okay. Like, no, it's not what he means. He means don't call home. Trust us. Like, no, like, trust us. And there's 2 of us. 2 of us had companions who weren't going to Mongolia at the time. We're like, no, believe us, we got chewed out. Don't do it. So that was kind of the excitement of being transferred to Mongolia. But my parents had then had a friend from high school print up some shirts with Mongolia on it, sent it to the 6 of us, and became a very interesting time. So since we were called Ukraine, we had clothes for Ukraine, which were, much more mild climate than Mongolia. We had trench coats, and that was about it for warmth. But going to Mongolia was a lot colder, and we hadn't prepared for that. So in the Mission Training Center, they had the purchasing agent, Maria Rosborough, took us out, and we went on a shopping spree. So we jumped in the MTZ van, and we went to REI and got, big winter coats and boots and pants. And I was like, we can go to these places, get cheaper prices. She goes, just go to one spot and get it done. So we came back that day, and we're unloading all this shopping bags into our dorm room, and it was really fun. And we had missionaries like, what are you guys doing? And we've got these big Celtic backpacks and expedition thermoses and expedition weight thermal underwear, and we had fleece jackets and sorrel boots and these long coats, and it was definitely one of those this is going to be an experience moments that we had in the Mission Training Center and getting to Mongolia.